I am R. Gayatri from First MA English. Indian Literature in English, Group 2, End of Imagination Assignment. Introduction, R. Gayatri. Background, Ritika Sri. Themes, Sangameshwari. Summary, Taslima. Literary Analysis, Harshita. Theory, Mary Jasmita Rose A. Conclusion, Adira. Good morning everyone. I'm R. Gayatri from First MA English. I'm here to address on the introduction of End of Imagination written by the author Susanna Arundhati Roy. She is an Indian author known for her novel The God of Small Things, which won the Booker Prize for Fiction in the year 1997 and became the best-selling book by a non-expatriate Indian author. Susanna Arundhati Roy is also a political activist involved in human rights and environmental causes. She was born on 24 November 1961 and currently she is 61 years old. Her birthplace is Shillong, Assam, present-day Meghalaya, India. Occupation, writer, essayist, activist. Education, BArch, Alma Mater School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. The genre used by Susanna Arundhati Roy in her works include fiction and non-fiction. Her notable works are The God of Small Things. The notable awards won by Susanna Arundhati Roy are the follows: National Film Award for the Best Screenplay in the year 1999, and Susanna Arundhati Roy also won the Booker Prize in the year 1997 and Sydney Peace Prize in the year 2004, Orwell Award in the year 2002, Norman Mailer Prize in the year 2011. Her spouse's name is Gerard Dashinha. Her parents' name is Mary Com, mother. In The End of Imagination, Roy speaks about the bad influence of nuclear weapons on the lives of the people. It is such a supreme lie to believe that nuclear weapons are deadly only if they are used. So in this End of Imagination, Susanna Arundhati Roy speaks about the negative impact of nuclear weapons on Mother Earth and human beings. We will see the background analysis of the End of Imagination in the following section, followed by Ritika Sri. Thank you.
The End of Imagination by Arundhati Roy. We are going to see about the literary analysis. Arundhati Roy is an Indian author who felt perturbed due to the unthinkable deviation that the environment and people could need to endure if a nuclear war was conducted. Due to this reality, she has inclined to write The End of Imagination, which was published 2 months after a series of 5 nuclear bomb test explosions were conducted, which has been referred to as the 1998 Pokhran Indian nuclear test. This essay will be identifying the rhetorical device used in The End of Imagination. One literary device used in this essay is anaphora. There is nothing new or original left to be said about the nuclear weapons. The anaphora is used in the opening sentence, emphasizes certain words and phrases, which include provide, of course, history book we have. Anaphora was used within certain parts, especially the word I and we were significantly used where the couple of sentences the author writes in early May, which means before the bomb. I left the home for 3 weeks. I thought I could return. I had every intentions of returning. Arundhati Roy is sharing her personal experience.
I am Sangameshwari, here to represent the nuclear bomb and its causes and effect in the environment. Let's see the basic structure of a nuclear bomb. The atomic bomb is one of the history's most terrifying and infamous weapon used in the bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. What happens to the weapons of mass destruction that actually work? Beyond a bomb, there is essentially a thick metal case containing a sphere full of high explosions, designed creative and exploding way within the bomb. There is Even a small sphere within the sphere, normally made of metal like uranium or tungsten, which contains the nuclear reaction that makes the bomb so deadly. It normally contains a small several highly radioactive uranium or plutonium. When the explosion occurs, the immense pressure splits the atom within the sphere, resulting in the massive release of energy that manifests the devastating explosion the way. Let's see the effects of nuclear testing. Environmental impact. Underground atmospheric and underwater nuclear release radioactive materials into the environment, causing pollution and long-term damage to ecosystem, health issues and contamination of water and food. Human health risk. Nuclear testing can have adverse health effects on people living near the test sites or downwind from the fallout. These effects include cancer, birth defects, and other radiation related illness. Economic costs. The development and the testing of nuclear weapons are extremely costly. Resources spent on nuclear programs could be redirected toward addressing social and economic needs. Nuclear testing can lead to diplomatic isolation and economic sanctions affecting a nation's relation with the international community. Nuclear testing is banned by international parties such as Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty (CTBT).
Greeting ma'am, this is Taslima from first year MA English. I am here to give a summary about the famous essay The End of Imagination written by Arundhati Roy. This essay, The End of Imagination, critiques the Indian government's nuclear policies. This essay first published in the title The Cost of Living. It was first published in 1999. It was a collection of articles that question the concept of development at the cost of many things. The End of Imagination is a poetic prose, that means prose that has beauty of poetry, that was written with the imagination, with the beauty that resembles poetry. In this essay, Royce makes the opinion clear that nuclear bomb is the most anti-democratic, anti-national, anti-human evil thing that man has ever made. Roy also discusses that India has conducted two nuclear tests. One is Pokhran 1 that is tested on the year 1974 and Pokhran 2 that is tested on the year 1998. This essay, End of Imagination, was written soon after the second nuclear test, that is Pokhran 2. Roy said that no one can imagine the peaceful future after the nuclear attack. Roy described with heartbreaking accuracy that how nuclear weapon dehumanizes us all because it is a failure of humanity as a whole. If humans create weapons in order to kill each other, humans have failed as a mankind. Arundhati Roy said that nuclear war is not a kind of war in which country battle country, man battle man. In a nuclear war, enemy will be not China or America, our enemy will be the earth itself. The natural elements like air, land, water will turn against us and the wrath will be terrible. She said that cities, the forest and field will burn for a days and week and a month. Arundhati Roy also talks about the big idea called globalization. This means the world is becoming more the same like one big mall. She thinks this is a bad for poor people. She worried about the democracy where people make decisions together isn't working well in some places. She thinks powerful leaders and big companies make it hard for regular people to have a say. She also concerned about the earth. She says we are hurting it and we need to stop. This isn't just an environmental problem. It's connected to politics and money. But Arundhati Roy doesn't just talk about the problems, she tells story of people who spoke against the bad stuff and made a difference. In her book, Arundhati Roy makes us think about how we see the world. Her book is important for anyone who cares about making the world better and more creative. Thank you.
This is Umul Harshita. I am going to talk about Sultana's Dream by Ruqayya Sakwat Hossain. The major themes are: it is a satiric fantasy which is published originally in English in the Indian Ladies Magazine of Madras, and it considered a part of Bengali literature. It depicts a feminist utopia in which run everything and take the place of men. Crime is eliminated since men were considered responsible for all of it. The religion is one of love and truth. Purity is held above all. The first one we are going to see about the feminism. Sultana's dream is a radical depiction of matriarchal society where female rule leads to peace, equality, and prosperity. When the male influence and male power structures are eliminated, society is able to evolve into a utopia. Progress flourishes and technological advancement becomes immense, which the certain of our cars, self-irrigation, land, air, travel, and the wealth of resource. The female society experiences no violence and has no need to turn to oppression. Instead, the women exist as equal without power hierarchies and are able to cohabit with both each other and the land in a. The next is female education. Ladyland feminist utopia emerged as a direct result of accessible female education when the Queen passes an order that all women should be educated. Women are able to receive a proper scientific education and being to turn their attention towards innovations. After the order is passed, universities for women are built, where women like the lady principal who invents the sun heat harnessing machines and the lady principal who creates the water balloons are able to fully rise to their intellectual potential. The stories on education reflect Rokaya's own devotion to female education and empowerment. Critique of patriarchal society. Sultana's dream in portraying an idyllic all-female society criticizes male power structure, including potential religious and social instruction that were all male dominated at the time of the story composition. Religion in Ladyland, for example, is focused on love and truth, which implies that religion is regular. Patriarchal society is the opposite and fails to embody these values. The explicit mention of certain items such as the Koh-i-Noor and Peacock Throne make the story criticism even more explicit as they overly refers the Mughal dynasty and condemn the Mughal Empire focuses on extravagant riches and military welfare. The next we are going to see about science and innovation. Ladyland is propelled by progressive scientific innovation which is only possible with the removal of oppressive male power structure the women eliminate by restricting the men to the wilderness. The engineer flying cars, the install plumbing in home and even control the weather with large water balloons that can dispense water when necessary. The women uses of science is also a criticism of the male-dominant scientific field of the time, which primarily used science in ways that harmed the natural world or strengthened modes of enacting violence upon others.
Myself, SL Ritika Sri. I'm from First ME and I'm going to give a background study on the end of imagination.
The title of the essay, The End of Imagination by Arundhati Roy, may seem to suggest that she has stopped writing fiction. However, this title is somewhat contradictory because it actually takes a great deal of imagination to even conserve the idea of an end of imagination. Furthermore, when you read the essay, you will realize that the many of ideas and scenarios the author present require a significant amount of imagination. For instance, she didn't remain silent when India conducted nuclear test in Porkhan, Rajasthan in September 1998. Her article, also titled The End of Imagination, was published in The Nation as a response to the nuclear test. This test deeply affected India and raised concern about potential for societal destructions. And Arundhati Roy was also committed to challenging the Indian government for conducting these tests without the consult of the people. In this essay, she discusses issues related to injustice, violence, and human rights. She raises important questions about these topics and calls for greater accountability from the government. So, despite the title, the essay is powerful explosion of issues that remain a lot of imagination and critical thinking to address effectively.
Hello everyone, this is Miri Jacinta Rose from First MA English of Ethiraj College. Today I am going to discuss Arundhati Roy's book End of Imagination by applying resistance theory. Basically, I am going to deal the text with a different perspective, how Arundhati Roy is very reluctant towards the stereotypical idea of nuclear bomb, as well as how she encouraged readers to be more actively raise their voice against nuclear experiment. Here I added the image of cover page of the book End of Imagination. I felt it's quite tricky to deliberately write the title The End of Imagination and purposely strike out the word imagination. Perhaps Arundhati Roy may think that the people falsely believe in nuclear weapon as a prevention method, but rather it is a mean for destruction. So, to insist this idea about the book, she purposely write the word imagination and strike out it in the cover page itself. Resistance theory is a concept which is totally against the political thought or purposely oppose the religion belief to point out or stand for some logical thinking. So it is basically a right to resist for any civilian obedience or any societal norms. Thomas Wilson. The theory of resistance was first introduced in the book The True Difference Between Christian Subjection and Unchristian Rebellion, which was written by Thomas Wilson. It is basically a book known for religious and non-religious conflict, and this is where the theory of resistance born. It was reprinted in 1643 at the outbreak of the First English Civil War. I gave some of the examples as evidence from the book End of Imagination to support the theory of resistance. Arundhati Roy opposed the idea or the theory of deterrence. In the book, it states that nuclear bomb is something that prevents the Cold War from turning into Third World War III. So this is known as the theory of deterrence or a defense theory. And Arundhati Roy explains that this theory is totally with all the flaws because it has major two flaws. One is the deterrence theory doesn't know the strength or weakness of the opponent. So without knowing the power of the enemy, how can you create a weapon to defend them? And the second flaw is people are not in the prevention method, rather they are in constant fear that they are actually in fear of living itself. So here another example that denotes Arundhati Roy as an activist. Arundhati Roy asks her readers to actively participate and actively voice out against the nuclear experiment. He asks her reader to be more subjectively taken this issue in matter in hand. She asks them to take it very personally and react and speak up for their own behalf. This is the hectic part of the book. Arundhati Roy is ready to give up all her rights and citizenship to become independent, who was against this nuclear bomb system. If people are protesting that she is anti-Hindu just because she is not okay with the idea of nuclear experiment, and she is not ready to accept her own motherland is being abused by the political influencer, then she's declared herself as the independent from the rest of the country, and she only focus on saving her mother nature, not any human beings. Instead of mourning for the past, she wants to prevent the deadly poisonous weapon going to explode.
Arundhati Roy's End of Imagination. End of Imagination by Arundhati Roy is a powerful essay that challenges the prevailing norms of society and advocates for a more compassionate, just, and imaginative world. In its conclusion, Roy underscores the importance of resisting the forces that stifle creativity and perpetuate injustice. She asserts that the human imagination is a potential tool for envisioning a better future and must not be constrained by political, social, or economical limitations. Roy implores readers to confront the harsh realities of the world, including inequality, oppression, and environmental degradation, and to challenge their imagination and empathy towards building a more equitable society. Thank you.